here with Kamini, and Kamini is a phenomenal queen of eyebrows in London. She's really well known. She has a lovely little clinic in Chelsea. So I think I started threading when I was going into menopause, and I suddenly started not growing a beard, that'd be exaggeration, but I started getting...
Vellus hairs.
What's it called?
Vellus.
Nice word for it. Vellus hairs, and they're all light hairs, so you can't laser it. But I do have about 7 stubborn hairs down here, which when they grow
stubbly,
thicker, not like a man's beard, but you know.
Especially if they're plucked.
Especially if they plucked. And I did occasionally, I don't know how many women out there have occasionally plucked their face, then they grow back thicker. So the biggest issue for me, and we'll go down now on this, but I've prepped my face before I've come to Kamini, because I think what puts some people off threading is that afterwards they think they'll get spots on their face, because a lot of people who thread their eyebrows get a few spots. So before I came to see you now, I exfoliated and I put on P20, which is something from Botanique. And so I've got very, very clean pores, because I think you don't want to be pulling out that hair when there's a bit of dirt in them, because that's the way you'll get a little bit of spot on it all day. So I have quite dark brows, but I always like to dye them because I don't want to have a high maintenance. So I come once every 6 weeks and I dye my brows and have them threaded and thread my face. So that's the routine. Should we start with brows or start with facial hair?
We can start with facial hair.
Okay, so what I want to know, Kamini, because there's threading and threading, and I want to understand, because some people might have had threading and had a bad experience, what's the wrong threading, what's the right threading? And you can do it as you do me.
Okay, so this is my technique. It's a light flick. It's just flicking the hairs off the face, so you're not being aggressive.
Starting with my beard, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. And you're just lightly flicking, so you're not stimulating any of the hairs. And it's a very light feather-like technique.
Can I ask you, this is the biggest question I've always asked, is some people I think are also nervous if they start threading, their hair will grow back quicker. So is what you're saying that if you thread the wrong way, get the wrong person, it will grow back quicker?
Then it can grow back quicker.
Okay, so you mustn't have too much wrenching out.
Yes, if it's wrenching, it's stimulating the follicle to produce the hair, because the body goes into a defensive mechanism, and it thinks the hair needs to be repaired, and so it produces
another one
more.
comes out quickly. So if we
this
take it out,
the system. It's
so it doesn't even know it's coming out, so it doesn't do anything.
And it doesn't hurt, therefore it doesn't hurt. So it's actually reducing them.
And it doesn't actually hurt. I mean, it's a little prickle. Where I've got the more resistant ones, I feel the tension is greater.
This way, you're not breaking a single hair.
So you're going right down, you're getting the bulb.
Yes, but not stimulating.
Okay.
That's why they take longer to grow back.
And how often do you get the bulb? Because hair grows continuously, but how often does it totally recycle?
When the bulb is there, it will come off. The bulb is there, it will always come off, because they're not always in place.
When I say bulb, I feel like I'm talking about plants here, but I mean the root, don't I?
The root, yes.
So it's the same thing. It's something that grows and it's alive.
They're different cycles.
And the cycle for hair growth on the face is what?
It's every 5 weeks.
Okay. So if you have dark hair, would you recommend people
Then
still do
IPL.
electrolysis? IPL.
You can do electrolysis, but IPL is the quicker and faster way.
I did IPL on my legs, and that was very effective. So IPL is a laser, and that does hair removal. And I did it, I think, 6 times, and I really had gorilla-like legs. I had them when I was young, and I remember I shaved, which is the worst thing to do when you're sort of 13, 14, but it's when you're aware of it. And then they just grew back thicker and darker. So about 10 years ago, I had IPL 6 times. And now I might do something to my legs with a razor quickly once every 2 months.
The problem is you can't IPL these light peach fuzz hair because they're too blonde.
And the laser won't pick them up.
It won't pick them up. So there's no other technique that works as well as this.
But on my darker hair, I've always wondered, should I IPL it?
IPL is best.
More than electrolysis now?
Yes.
Because electrolysis was always a very painful process. I did do it once or twice. So
I only do electrolysis for the odd hairs because IPL is so good.
Well, going around the mouth area, I do find it slightly more painful. And the place I find it most painful is going to be here. So I'll have to wince a bit. How? You used to always say to me, breathe. Now you don't bother.
We'll do 5
You used to say, yes,
five
what?
counts.
5
Let's do
counts.
5
Okay,
counts.
1,
So
2.
ready?
Okay, so steady, go.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe again. Perfect. This makes it less painful. Well done.
Also, we used to be in this routine that every other time you would do a half thing, like sort of this, and then the next time you would do a full one. So then you feel you've got a more chiseled jaw. So I quite like that one today.
Okay. Sure.
So even though the hair is incremental, I notice it.
So we're going to do a little here. That's right.
You wouldn't think one has hair on one's neck, and I never thought I did until Kamini started threading on my neck. But there is obviously a little bit there.
It just gives a clear jawline.
Okay.
When that's
Here we go.
all gone.
And then and see, it's so tough it's breaking your thread.
Oh no.
Because they're the ones, I don't know how many women watching this, when you're sort of chatting with somebody and you start doing this, like you have your little beard, it's like, you know, when men go, and I start doing that because I do have them, and I can still feel them here. Feel there.
Yeah, I think that's it. If I can get it.
See, it's so stubborn.
It's so stubborn.
Oh.
Got it.
Oh, it's like a spot coming out. You got it, fantastic.
Got it.
Okay, these are clean. You see the skin in a way. I mean, it's stimulating enough that the skin's become a bit shiny. This is, I have to say, an incredible. I'd like to lie down flat and have my picture taken all the time because it's the best position to be. But that's kind of, you know, I always feel my skin looks better afterwards.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah. So after this, I will be very careful that I don't put makeup on for a bit because I just want to keep the pores very clean, and really silly things like, you know, you might leave somewhere and then go on the tube, and then if you keep putting your fingers,
open, you don't want any dirt.
The pores are quite open. You just don't. So you really have to prevent yourself from wanting to touch your face. It sounds, you know, a bit scary. It's not. It's just I'm doing everything to tell you so you don't get one single spot after you've done threading.
Sorry, I'm just picking up.
No, pick up more. Yes, go for it, Kamini, go for it. You see, it's very feathery. Kamini's she's conducting an orchestra in her technique.